Okay. And then we have one more person, Ken.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Ken.
Where
How
are
are
you
you?
from, Ken?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I am from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Nice.
Look at you bringing the international flair.
Living in San Diego, though.
San Diego. Very cool. That's awesome.
That's where it looks like I am. But
Yeah.
You look very tropical. I would like
My mom's Zoom screen is stuck on that one forever.
right. I need to figure out how to, I don't know how to change it. That's just what it is. So
That's wild. All right, so it's 6 o'clock. Let me just make sure that nobody's having any trouble getting on. Nope, I didn't get any emails, so I guess we're good. So yeah, first let's go through and let's talk about like Tammy. Why don't you start and just tell me like briefly like what you do, how it's working out, and what you want to do, like what you want to get out of this, and that totally helps me.
Okay. So I'm for the people that just popped out, I'm in the San Diego area, LA area. I originally started out in LA. I was on the other side of the camera. I was doing some acting and print work myself. And so I started out with headshots and modeling portfolios and doing those kind of things because it was comfort zone. And I worked in that industry. And we left LA and went to Austin, and I kind of changed it up a little bit. I had done some really big weddings with a friend of mine, and that just wasn't my cup of tea at all. And tried some like family portraits, which is fine. And then moved to Atlanta, and then took a little bit of a break and did, because I had a daughter, and I started back, of course, headshots, because that was a comfort zone and something, but I started doing newborns. And it was great for a while. And I was just, maybe because I had already had a kid, I wasn't scared of them anymore. And then after I moved to San Diego and I opened a studio there, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. It's wonderful, and their photos are beautiful, and it's great what you can come up with because it's such a special moment for the person. But it's just not, it's very, very stressful. And I didn't feel like it was very creative because you're working on a baby and you're just trying to keep them still. And so my studio closed back in, well, obviously got shut down in March and officially closed it in July because San Diego got shut down again. And unfortunately, my last session in there was in February, and then I did a family Christmas session right before the holidays. But that didn't bring me joy either. I'm at a point right now where I was going to be doing high school seniors, and it's basically like doing a modeling kind of headshot type session. It's kind of that's the big thing now. It wasn't like that when I was in high school. Oh, good heavens. But so I think I just want to do something a little bit more creative. I'm very much like the caretaker person. I'm very like huggy, and I just want people to be happy. And I have such joy for I just want to do photos that make people feel something.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, evoking emotion.
Yeah, and right before I popped on, I was on Instagram and I saw your picture of you in the water that you just took maybe today. And I literally was just like, those kinds of things, like that's what I want to do. I want to do things that are not always have to be so super posy, and it has to be, a specific thing for like a shot, which is great, but just being able to be a little bit more creative and not like, I feel like all those other categories are so stiff because you got parents trying to yell at kids and you've got wedding stress and all those things. And I think that, right now when this pandemic ends and I'm like out there, I want to just be creative and have fun and, do things that are kind of like headshot portrait, but also where it's a styled type shoot as well.
Cool, that's awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you here, and we're going to touch on all that great stuff. Yeah. So Ashley, tell us your story.
Story in a nutshell. So I'm from Ogden, Utah. If you guys missed it, it's John said it's cool. It's not that cool. But I do pretty much everything but newborns because they're so hard. But families, weddings, a lot of like headshots for real estate agents and stuff like that. I actually managed a wedding venue for the last 2 years, and a lot of that changed because of COVID. So I stepped away from that this year, and I'm stepping into photography full time again. And I guess my goals are just to, but I love portrait photography. I love headshots. They can be so simple, but so powerful, and
Yeah.
improve that part of my work.
That's awesome. Did that cut you off? What happened there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, no, that's cool. And then like, how do you want to bet through this course? You want to basically up your game? Like, what's your end game from this? Like, what do you want to take out of it?
I just want to offer my clients better galleries, I guess. And I want to offer a premier product that other people around me do not. So
That's what it's all about. And
yes.
I can't wait to talk to you guys about that, because there's so many simple ways to do this that it's just going to blow your mind. You're going to be like, how did I not think of that?
Yeah.
We will definitely talk to that. Cool. So Richard, tell me your story.
So I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm a commercial and wedding photographer. I don't do as many weddings, especially now since COVID. But that's kind of where it started, that in architectural. I was in architecture for most of my adult life. That's what I went to school for. But always photographed all of our projects. So I had a lot of building and that kind of thing. But then slowly got into portraiture and through weddings. And I really like portraits. It's the hardest to do, I think, to do well. There's so much nuance to it and subtlety. And I think that's how you can pick the good ones from the not so good ones. When you look at other photographers, like most people may not, but there's a lot going on there when you see a good photo, and you just try to pick it apart. And how did they do that? And how that light sit there? And how is it so diffused? Because mine don't do that, you know. But what I want to take out of this is I want to go more in the high end, like Ashley before said, just make it a higher end product. I feel like I do a pretty good job, and I like my headshots, but they are not your headshots. And I wouldn't even call what you do headshots, you know what I mean? But I would love to take it to that upper tier premium, product. And I want to be, learn the skill set to be able to do that.
And here's the thing, you can. And no matter what business that you're in, this is such an important thing, whether you shoot weddings or boudoir pictures, or you want to shoot celebrities or musicians or real estate agents, you can take that aspect to the highest level. It's not just like, oh, well, you have to shoot celebrities to be super successful and make a ton of money. Not at all. There's money to be made across the board with private clients, like super high-end weddings. When I do weddings, I charge like $25,000 for me to show up and do the wedding. And that's just for me to show up and do the wedding. And I don't shoot the wedding. I just shoot the portrait. And that lasts, I don't know, 20 minutes. So there's a way for you guys to do that. You just have to position yourself that way. And we're going to talk about this with this course, which is really important to me because I consider myself a really good marketer. And I think it's all about marketing, and it's all about perception, how they perceive you. Everybody wants to buy into a winner. Everybody wants to have, someone who's amazing and offers things that other photographers may not offer. So we're going to address all of that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So thank you. And now Natalie, tell us your story.
I didn't know if you saw me. I was like,
you were hiding. Oh my God. You've been exposed. Yeah.
Hi everybody, nice to meet you all. I'm Natalie, originally from the UK, hence the accent, it's not fake. Not from Boston. Lived in New York for about 10 years, moved to LA about 3 years ago. Editorial portrait photographer. Since being in Los Angeles, been photographing a few celebrities and doing a little bit of magazine work for the Instagram magazines. And yeah, just here because I want to learn how to get to like the next level and get bigger and better clients. And yeah.
That's you in a nutshell.
That's
okay.
me.
That's what it's all about, getting bigger and better clients and making more money, but having a great time all along. So I'll say
that too.
Okay, Linda, we're ready Tell us everything. Start when you were 16. We've got time.
Oh God, no, you don't want to hear that. So I'm from the Chicagoland area, out a little further out in the suburbs, and have a little small studio in downtown Cary, about 700 square feet, and since 2015. Before that, I was in some other studios and then worked for a company called Paper Source, which some of you might know,
Yeah, sure.
and did a lot of their creative and all their workshops and bookbinding and things like that. I did a lot of custom things and helped them head up all of their creative. So I had studied photography with marketing and journalism and loved getting to do more photojournalistic style when I was younger, and then just realized that I can't remove myself from my subject. So I'm not an objective shooter. So yeah, the newspaper industry was not for me. I was way too connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
If a baby was falling from a building, I wouldn't be photographing it. I'd be running to try and catch the baby. That's just like,
Yeah.
that's how it works. So, so I've done lots of different styles of photography, commercial, product, and then educational in terms of like building, curriculums and things like that for more
Yeah.
creative things. And then when I saw the opportunity to get my buyout at Paper Source, because I was one of the founding members, I took it and opened the studio. So that was in 2013. So back to my original passion, which I just really love. I love doing portraiture. There is something about a little bit more of that fluid kind of feeling in a portraiture, kind of closer to the photojournalistic style. I don't do weddings. I don't do babies. I mainly and primarily headshot, editorial, some family. Due to COVID, I just go back and forth for some special clients to do family, just to keep me on my toes, right? And keep my communication skills up, because man,
Yeah.
they're killer to do sometimes. And but I really am working towards doing more fine art portraiture, more portraiture that has a sense of celebrity to it for my everyday client. I really want to step up and increase my prices this year, and I'm not looking back. I need to master my craft in a way that really elevates it. And so I'm looking forward to it. You're really, really talented, John, and I feel very
Oh,
lucky to
thank you.
learn from you. So thank you.
No, go on with that.
Seriously. So you have a great personality and good style, and that rapport comes through in your shots. Really,
Oh, thank you.
That's why we're
it's an
all here,
amazing
yes.
thing to witness. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Well,
Absolutely.
we will address all those fun things. And Jaden just signed on, so he's perfect time. He's next. He can tell us where he's from, what he's doing, and what he hopes to get out of this class.
Hello, everybody. I'm actually I'm from Toronto in Canada, so north of the border. Unfortunately, I can't come and see you guys anytime soon because it's closed, but maybe one day. I've been doing photography since my dad handed me a camera since I was a kid. So I've always been interested in it, and it's been my job for over a decade. But over the last few years, like I opened a photography studio, which I've been fortunate to hang on to. And I like the editorial, the portraiture. I mean, I've been following you, John, for a long time and admire of your work. And again, that's, I guess, why we're here. And I moved heaven and earth to get onto this course with like some scheduling stuff. So I made it. So I'm super, super happy about that. But I've been focusing on a lot more like musicians in town and doing that sort of thing. I've had a couple of projects this year, but obviously due to the pandemic, there's really not much going on. And even with some of the productions in town, like it's pretty hard to kind of navigate that realm with all the lockdowns and whatever's been going on. But aside from making this work, I also shoot commercial photography for the telecommunications industry up here. Equipment, like reference material for guidelines and all that kind of weird stuff. So that keeps me busy, and I'm really fortunate to stay employed at this point. So, but I'm here to learn marketing and that sort of thing, and next level stuff. I'm in a pretty good town to make that level, that jump to the next level, especially with TIFF and that sort of thing when it comes around once a year. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this town, and I'm just eager to learn and from the Jedi Master here, and like.
Well, I'm so glad, and it's so cool because there is so much stuff to learn. And I'm just going to start off by giving you a very brief how I got started, where I am, a little evolutionary plan, I guess, evolutionary process of me. I was so inspired when I was like, I don't know, 18 years old. I was always a kid running around with a camera, taking pictures with a Kodak disc camera, old school. Remember that one? God, I'm dating myself. But my dad, he was a great photographer, and he was always taking pictures of my family and blah, blah, blah. So I was really inspired from my dad. And then when I finally decided, like, what do I want to do with my life? Just like everyone else, I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to law school. No, I'll be a chiropractor. Oh, I'll do this. I'll do that. I was all over the place. And then I'm like, I love photography. And then I started to like really notice photography, and I loved Herb Ritz, this photographer named Herb Ritz, his work, and Bruce Weber and Greg Gorman. And these are the people when I was just starting college that I was super inspired by. And I remember I bought Madonna's sex book. Does anybody remember Madonna's
Yeah.
book? Okay. And I ripped all the pages out and I framed them and put them around my bedroom, and they were a little out of control. God knows what my parents thought. But they were from Stephen Meisel, who's still shooting now,
so
incredible
good.
photographer. And I was so inspired by that. And by putting them up on my wall, and over my bed, I had this huge Bruce Weber print. And so my room was all Herb Ritz, Bruce Weber, all the top photographers. And here I am, like, 19 years old, 20 years old. And I'm like, I'm going to do this one day. And by looking at their work, it inspired me to think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. There's no reason why. So I went to a school in New Jersey, which was not the best school for me. And I really had to teach myself because the school couldn't give me what I wanted. I was the overachiever, and the school taught me how to like use an enlarger and print pretty pictures. And we had courses like photograph fruit by the window and people in public places, like nothing that I wanted to do. So it was even harder for me because I didn't go to a school that was specific to me being a photographer. My school, after 4 years, I could not get a job. I could not get a job if I weren't, I don't want to say if I weren't me, but not one of the people that graduated in my photography thing is a photographer. So not one. And so basically when I graduated, I'm like, I don't know who my client is. I don't know billing. I don't even know how to use lighting. I don't know where to find my clients. I don't know about promotion. Basically, I know nothing. So I threw myself into it and taught myself everything. And basically said, I have to get the hell out of New Jersey because I don't want to be here. And I'm going to move to, first I was like, I'm going to move to Miami because I want to be a fashion photographer. And then I went down to Miami, still not knowing how to do any of it. And my first job, and I got this job because I was more, I just worked everybody. I like would sweet talk everyone and smile. And I got this job for shooting for this tragic magazine called Men's Exercise for Men. Oh my God, it was short of like a pornographic magazine. But it was just, these guys working out that were kind of buff, and they were going to pay me $300. And I'll never forget, I was so excited, like, oh my God, I can make $300. So I go to the beach and I have my Canon AE1, and I didn't know that the light meter inside the camera was broken. So I was going by that, and I had it on auto. And so after we do this whole shoot for like 3 hours, I go to the lab. This is back in the day when you can do a snip test with your film.
Yeah.
And I'm with the client, and all of the rolls of film, like all 30 of them, are just black. And I'll never forget it. And he looked at me and he's just like, "You will never make it in this business. You wasted everyone's time. Don't you ever call me again." And my heart was just pounding. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to be a photographer. I can't believe it." I was like devastated. And I went back to my house and I'm just like, "No, you got to forget about that. It was just an unfortunate situation." And I forgot about it, but I hated Miami. And so I got back in my car and I drove back to New Jersey and I saved a bunch of money and I said, "I'm going to move to LA." And I'll never forget, I told my parents, I'm like, "I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to be this big time photographer. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to buy you a beautiful house and a brand new Mercedes." And they were like, "You will?" And I'm like, 100%. In 2 years, I went back there and bought them that house and the brand new Mercedes that was delivered on Christmas morning.
Oh,
So that was a really special thing for me because I wanted to do that for my mom and dad, who were absolutely amazing people. But when I moved to LA, I was so obsessed with Herb Ritts and Bruce Weber and Greg Gorman. And I basically studied them because they were making it at the time. And I wanted to know, how are they making it and how can I make it? So I would look at their work and I would emulate their work, meaning like I would take an image of Herb Ritts and I would say, "Okay, I can light like Herb Ritts, so I'm going to use this as my guide. I'm going to use this as my map. And I'm going to I'm going to find a model that looks like that, a location that looks like that. I'm going to create the same light and the same energy. And if I can duplicate this image, I can be Herb Ritts." And that's how I started. I said, "I am going to teach myself by emulating the masters." And then I'm like, "I can light like this person. I can light like that person. I could do this." Herb Ritts was the person I followed more because I really loved his aesthetic. And I have a little presentation of his work that I'm going to show you guys. Where is my little share screen thing? So here, can you guys see this?
yep.
Okay, so this is Herb Ritts. I don't know if you know his work, but one day, when you guys get time, definitely look at it because it's very inspiring. He basically, in my opinion, he's the reason why Annie Leibovitz is Annie Leibovitz. Because Herb was doing all the covers of Vogue, he was doing all the covers of Vanity Fair, and then he passed away. And then all of a sudden, Annie Leibovitz became Annie Leibovitz. But Herb to me was the original. He was doing all this beautiful celebrity work. Remember this image of Brigitte Nielsen that he did? I mean, his stuff was so crisp and so clean and so beautiful. And then I remember seeing this cover. This is 1996.
Mm-hmm.
And this was just when I was starting my career. I was like, "Oh my God, I want to do this. I'm going to shoot a cover of Vanity Fair one day. I can light like this. Matthew McConaughey, I'm going to photograph him one day. Mark my words." And I did, which is like, oh my God, you put that stuff in the universe when you're doing this. And then when it happens, you're just like, "Oh my God, I knew this all along." So it's kind of like, it just feels really, really good. And especially like, because I was so obsessed with this guy's work, I mean, I would look and I would try to, and even now I'll look back to his work for inspiration because I was so inspired by it. But he was the one that started with making celebrities, taking photos of celebrities and making them kind of play roles in the images, not just putting them in a studio, but like taking Richard Gere and throwing him in like an old garage like this. Or Matthew McConaughey and kind of playing him in this, like in a barn, very Western. And I love narratives in stories for photography. I think it's so important. And I think anytime that you guys shoot, you have to get out of the studio and you have to tell a story with your images. And I think it's so important to do that. But I don't know if you remember this image, just his images were so beautiful and the light was so great. And he just really got something out of his subjects, which I loved. This was Donatella Versace. Never looked that good in her life, ever. Naomi Campbell. I mean, just everything he did, I don't know, I loved. And then his fine art stuff, this was shot out at the dry lake bed in California. Absolutely stunning. And mind you, he didn't rely on Photoshop like a lot of people do these days. he
Right.
was doing before Photoshop was Photoshop, you know? And remember this iconic photo?
Oh yeah.
Timeless, beautiful, exquisite light, you know, just really, really pretty. And then of course, Madonna. So yeah, he's kind of like the one that inspired me to do what I do, you know, and let me see, so I'm back. Um, and then from there, I just started like working the publicists. And do you guys know what the publicists, who they are, what they do? I'll give you a little brief thing. Publicists are basically, I don't want to say the first line of defense, but they represent the celebrities. So basically, if you want to photograph Matthew McConaughey, you're going to go through his publicist. His publicist has to approve you in order for you to get that job. So not only do you have to target clients, meaning like uh, magazines, studios, advertising agencies to get work, you can get a job from an ad agency and the publicist can trump it and say, no, we don't want that photographer. So you have to then do another marketing plan and market yourself to the publicist so they know who you are. So that's why being a celebrity photographer is, in my opinion, extremely hard. And that's why there's only a few people. There's a circle. And I think early on, the circle was Herb Ritz, Bruce Weber, Greg Gorman, Annie Leibovitz, Matthew Ralston. They were the people that every job went to those five. And then as they kind of like the new breed of people came along, there became another circle. And some people stayed in the circle, like Annie Leibovitz, obviously she's in the circle, but she's has celebrity status. So she's getting big jobs because of her name. So she's good with that. But then there was another tier of photographer that came, and it's a circle, you know, of about like 4 or 5 people right now that are getting all of the big jobs referring to celebrities, pertaining to celebrities. But now I feel like that circle has been expanded and opened up a bit. And excuse me, it's given more opportunity to new photographers and younger photographers to break into this world, which I think is great. Because even if you look at like movie posters, there's basically 2 photographers that control it. It's unbelievable that these 2 photographers shoot all the movie posters. They are the go-tos. And I don't understand that, but it kind of is what it is. And I think, you know, during our 12 weeks of talking, I'm going to talk to you guys about all of that kind of stuff, like how to get in with these movie studios, how to get people to notice you. It's a whole nother job. You know, it's not just about pushing the button and lighting. And I think that people don't realize that in terms of photography, there's so much more to it. There's a lot of incredible photographers out there that you'll never hear of that won't make a dime. Why? We have to think about, maybe they don't know how to market themselves. Maybe they don't know how to put themselves out there. But there's a lot of photographers that are making a fortune, in my opinion, whose work is shocking, but they found a way. And that's very important that they did that. We were doing all the retouching for 20th Century Fox. So we would have to retouch / fix all these other photographers' work. And I'll never forget, there was a bunch of jobs that I was up for, but I didn't get because the publicist picked this other photographer. And then my team had to fix their work. And it's not all of them. There's a lot of great photographers out there that are doing well. But a couple of them, I was just like, oh my God. It almost infuriates me because I'm like, okay, so now my team is responsible for fixing the lighting that you should have done. It just blows my mind. But because of photographers like that, it's actually a good thing because it allows other photographers and shows other photographers like, hey, this is basically anyone. Anyone can get in this game right now. And I think that's important to know because a lot of people and a lot of the students that I have say to me, oh, John, it's so impossible. You know, how do you get to shoot Brad Pitt? And I'm like, it's virtually impossible, but anything is attainable. I come from a small town with 1 traffic light in New Jersey. Who would have thought that I would go on to shoot Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, for the Revenant campaign? and to shoot Brad Pitt and to shoot Sophia Loren and all of these people. If I can do it, you can do it. Jaden can do it. Everybody can do it. Linda can do it. Tammy can do it. You just have to want to do it. And it doesn't matter if you're 20, 40, or 60. It doesn't matter. You can come into this at any time in your life. And that's another important thing to know. And now with jobs being everywhere all over the world, it doesn't matter if you live in Des Moines or LA or Florida. If a client wants you, there's a budget. They're going to pay for you to fly there. It's very important. So you can build a portfolio where you live of incredible portraits and still market yourself to the publicist, to the clients. If they like you, they will fly you there. So don't ever think, oh my God, I live in Nebraska on a farm and I could never shoot Brad Pitt. No, you can. You just have to want it bad enough to make it happen. And for me, I was the guy that was so driven that it was ridiculous. I mean, I look back on my career and I'm like, oh my God, how did you do this? Like, I put horse blinders on and I am like, I will be big time. One, there is no plan B. You will be big time, John. You will shoot all these people, and I had certain goals that I set that I wanted to reach. And as I reached those goals, then I wanted more goals and more goals and more goals. And you keep pushing yourself. And then you blink your eye and you're like, oh my God, I'm 50 years old. I know I don't look it. That's okay. But I'm 50 years old. And it's like, wow, I started this journey when I was 25 years old. And it goes so fast. But when I look back on it, I'm like, it was super fun. And everything that I did was super fun. And everything that I'm continuing to do is super fun. I'm just doing it a different way right now. Like, I'm just deciding in my career, with this whole age of COVID, it makes everyone pull back and think, what do you want out of your career? And what do you want to do next? So I had all these revelations of, what do I want to do? And I look back on my career and I think, you have worked consistently for 20 years, nonstop, constantly. So this year was hard on me because here I go working nonstop to no work, because all of the studios that I shoot for, they stopped production. The actors are not promoting films. They're not hiring the photographers. So it's not just me, it's all these photographers that are in this circle, because I'm friends with most of them, their work stopped. A couple jobs here and there, but it really allowed me to stop and think like, wow, do I want to continue this work grind? And now I'm like, I really don't. I want to focus on more of enjoying everything I've worked for and having a great life and teaching. It's just a different, I think this whole COVID thing is really making people reevaluate, what is it exactly I want to do with my life? And I'm sure each of you are probably feeling that or have been feeling that. And it's a tough market right now for probably all of you. I mean, can any of you chime in to say like, no, it's been crazy busy, it's been nonstop, or is it affecting all of you? How about Linda? Is it affecting you?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of editorial things for just some small magazines, and some of those things were based on events, right? Showing up to some events or doing things where I had, like, there were special speakers. So all of that went away. And then I had some small product shoots where I did it on location at their place. That all went away. And so then I lowered my prices to do some headshots, and then I realized this is just crazy. I'm doing twice the amount of work. And then I raised my prices to do headshots. So and then I got just slammed at the end of the year. I think everybody who had money left in a media budget
Yeah.
wanted to make sure they had it spent. So, I was doing like 12, 15 headshots during the week, but my rates are still too low. So there's that.
And there's another thing that we're going to address, like how to price yourself, how to increase your pricing, and how to justify what you're pricing. That is such an important thing. And I almost think we're going to have a very big portion of a class talking about that, because we as photographers, as creatives, not many of us, when it comes to pricing ourselves, know how to accurately price ourselves and upsell and license our images and get paid more. It's not just about, let me shoot this and give it to you. In my opinion, photography, our business is more about licensing. We license our work. We're not really, we're not really work for hire unless that's agreed upon. But for me, when I do a shoot, I license my images for a certain period of time, which is called an embargo period. And the clients get first US rights and 90 days to use my images. And after that, the rights of the images revert back to me, and I can relicense them to any client I want. It could be, I could relicense them to their competitor if I want. We are in the business of licensing our images. And I think on every level, and a good thing for you guys too, and once again, we'll talk about that, is when you shoot portraits for someone, always say to them, would you guys like to own these images? And they're going to go, oh, I thought I did. No, actually, if you want to do a buyout and you want to own these images, we can do a special buyout rate. And so many people have this, ooh, ownership. Right then and there, you can make an additional $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 by offering that buyout option. And that's definitely stuff that we're going to talk about, because I think one of my strong suits, obviously like shooting and being a photographer, but the business aspects, which a lot of us, a lot of photographers that I talk to just don't have. And that's why maybe they're fulfilled with their creativity, but some people say to me, I want to make a lot of money. I want to make a couple $100,000 a year doing this. How do I increase the finances from this? And I think that is such an important conversation to have. Very important conversation to have. So another thing that I want to talk to you guys about. So obviously, when it pertains to celebrity portraiture, back in the day, magazines were shooting just models for the cover. Vogue, Harper's, everything were like the supermodels and all that. And then in the 90s, it switched and it went to all celebrities. So of course, that's great for me. But I look back then, and I think magazines in the 90s were 1,000 times better than magazines today, because magazines back then, in my opinion, they weren't controlled as much by, you need to put Gucci on the cover. It needs to be this person. How many followers do they have? Are they PC to put on the cover? Now, unfortunately, the magazine industry to me is like, I don't really shoot for magazines. Maybe once in a great while if it's a request, but it's definitely not a place where I want to be. There's no money. They make you sign away the rights to your images if you shoot for like a Condé Nast or one of these big publications, all for them to scribble text over your image. No, thank you. I don't want that. But for some people who say like it's their dream to have a cover of Vanity Fair, 100%, you should go for that. You should go for that. But for me, early on in my career, I was shooting for all these international magazines and all these, US, but more international magazines. I found that doing International Vogue and GQ and Esquire, they were paying me on time, and I had more creativity. There was no one flying here for the shoot. They were just trusting my creativity. When I had worked for a US publication, a big one, it was micromanaged to the highest level. And I wasn't really into that, And I found that the US magazines, basically when I shoot for a magazine, I give them what they're going to run. Like maybe I'll give them a small selection, but for the most part, I say, this is the story that I love, and these are the 4 cover options that I love. So a lot of people don't like that. They want to be in control, but just the way that I've done my career, it's basically my way or the highway. If you don't like that, then just don't work with me. Because before I was doing that, I would send pictures. They would pick the worst possible picture out of all of my photos. They would find the one that maybe I missed, or maybe like, I don't know what happened. That would always be the cover. And then I'd want to kill myself. So now they don't get that choice at all. It's basically like, this is your selection, period. And that comes obviously with doing it for so long and having, credibility in the industry and all that. And then they respect you because you're older and you've been doing it. But I do think that for me, having that control freak mentality has kind of helped me in my career because I don't know, I don't really have that much bad stuff out there because of that. Sometimes I see these covers of these magazines, like recent ones, and I'm just horrified. And I'm like, oh my God, the photographer must be just dying that they chose that photo. And I think to myself, the key to being a great photographer is being a great editor. You can shoot 50 pictures. If you are a terrible editor, you'll pick like the 10 worst ones and you'll send them to the client, to the magazine. No, you need to be a great editor. You need to know how to edit your work, and you only show your best work. It's so important for you guys to know that. When you do a job, whether it be for a wedding, headshots, a music thing, shooting a celebrity, you don't need to show them 1,000 pictures. People don't want to see that. I want to see 15 good pictures of myself. I don't want to see 1,000 pictures of like me sneezing and looking like I had a stroke. I don't want any of that. And so many photographers, and even when I teach these classes, it's so funny. I tell my students, I'm like, oh my God, I don't have the time to look through 80,000 of your frames where you just went. Go through, make me a super tight edit of what you think is the best, and I will look from there. And I think it's so important, and we're going to talk about that too, being an amazing editor. I mean, have any of you, do all of you pride yourself on your editing skills, or is that something you think that you guys can improve on? What do you think?
Yeah, I know I can improve on that.
You can always improve. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's so
always
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's really important because if you do a job for a client and say you're in North Carolina and I'm in LA and I'm not going to fly out for that shoot, that client really doesn't know what you shot. So you only send them the 25 unbelievable photos that are in focus, tack sharp, um, everything the client wanted. You don't just send them quantity, you send them quality. That's what it's all about. I've always been a fan of that. I literally send such a small amount of pictures. My assistants used to tell me like, are they going to get upset? And I'm like, why would they care? They're 20 beautiful photos. If they say, I need a little more variety, then you get 5 more. And that's that. I almost feel like, I do feel like we as the photographer, we're the artist. They're coming to us for guidance. We have to have this self-confidence that we are a badass. We know what we're doing. They should trust us. It's almost like if we were a doctor, you're not going to second guess your doctor. Well, then don't second guess me in my skills. And that confidence level is so important for you guys to have. And when I was teaching at Brooks, I almost wanted to teach a class just on confidence because there was so many of my students were so not confident in their work, not confident in themselves. And it used to come across in the class and they were like nervous and timid and afraid. And I'm like, no, you need to have brass balls to be a photographer. You don't need to be aggressive, but you need to be confident and you need to exude that level of confidence. Because once again, everybody wants to buy into a winner. Nobody wants to buy into somebody that's like, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe. No, it's yes, I do know. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is how I see the shoot going. And everybody's like, okay, that's perfect. You do your thing. That's why I'm hiring you and paying you the big bucks. And then you deliver. That's what it's all about. And as I said, I'm so excited. Like each week, we're going to talk about all this stuff. And I have some incredible guest speakers lined up for you guys, which is so cool because I feel like you need to hear from the people who are hiring the photographers. So we're going to hear from my friend John De La Vigna. He's worked for Fox for 25 years and then switched over to Disney. He is in the photo department. He's the one who is responsible for looking at your portfolio and choosing if you get the job or not. And these are jobs that pay minimum $25,000 fee, which could go up to a $50,000 fee. And then after you jack up all your expenses, it could be $75,000. So I want him to talk to you guys about what he looks for in a photographer. I think it's important. And then I want you to hear from a celebrity publicist, what they look for in a photographer. And then I want you guys to hear from a client, a brand that's going to hire a photographer, a jeans brand. We're going to hear from this incredible, he started the brand. It's called Ace Rivington. I love these jeans. So we have a lot of people that I want you guys to hear for, and I want you to ask them a million questions. And if you don't, I'm going to ask them a million questions for you, because it's so important, because these are the decision makers. And they're the people that in our business are the people that we need to play up on. And another question that we have to ask ourselves, who is our client? That is the most important question you can ever ask yourself as a photographer. I'm going to beat that into your heads for 12 weeks. If you can't identify who your client is, you need to really rethink it. And what I mean by this is, if you say, well, John, who's your client? Okay, my client are movie studios, advertising agencies, brands, an occasional private client, an occasional magazine. And because I also shoot hotels and resorts. So I've identified my clients. So I'm going to gear my work and all of my promotion toward those clients. It's very important. And when those clients go to my website, they're going to see work that is representative of them. They're not going to see a picture of a chicken and then a Coke bottle and then like a wedding or me partying with my friends. No. They're just going to see celebrities. And if they go to my other site, they're going to see all hotels. It's all about having a specialty and sticking to your specialty. When I review portfolios, the first thing I say is I look at the portfolio, I should know exactly what this photographer does and if they're a specialist in what they do. So if I look at Linda's portfolio and I want to see in Linda's portfolio, if she shoots corporate headshots or portraits, I want to see that. I don't want to see a picture of a flower. I don't want to see, if she doesn't shoot weddings, I don't want to see a wedding. If she doesn't shoot rappers, I don't want to see a rapper. Really hone in on a specialty. And this is really important if you guys want to charge a premium, become a specialist in the realm that you're shooting. So Richard, what do you shoot?
Primarily corporate advertising and headshots. Weddings would be a close second. So
okay, so if I
up until COVID.
Okay, if we were to go to your website right now, is it 100% representative of that?
It's more wedding forward right now because it's an old website, but that's another something I'm working on. But yeah, it's mostly you would see commercial and weddings primarily.
Okay, and Leonie, if we went to yours, what would we see?
Well, nothing, because there's nothing there yet.
Well, there you go. Well, what do you want them to see? Like
Well,
eventually.
I want them to see portraits because I love doing that.
Okay, well then that's good. So that's amazing that you want them to see that. And when you do your Instagram and you do your website, it'll be representative of that. And the same thing, like Natalie, what are you shooting now?
Portraiture.
Okay, do you have a website?
Yeah.
Okay, is it representative of what you do? Okay.
100%.
So this is awesome because I want you guys, all of you tonight, to email me your website, because and if you don't have one, that's okay. I want to look through your website and I want to give you my little critique. I'm so nice. I'm not going to rip you apart. I'm just going to give you some constructive. I might not even have to give constructive criticism. They may be amazing, but I just want to give you my take on it, what I think might help.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember, your Instagram and send me your website, and I'll respond to you guys individually. So it's not, it's not public. Very important. So, and another thing we're going to talk about, which is crazy important, is the curation of our Instagram. Oh my God. It's all about curating your Instagram, and I'll just touch on it for like a second now. But when I go on a photographer's Instagram and they have political statements on there, I am like, what an idiot you are. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you alienate 50% of your potential client by making these statements? If you want to do that, I'm all for you. Get a personal Instagram. You can march with your picket sign on that personal Instagram all day long. But if you are Tammy Porter photo, I don't want pictures of Biden and Trump and abortion rights and this one's rights and this one matters, because you will alienate 50% of the people that don't believe what you believe, and it will hurt your business. And I know one photographer, actually two, that they were, one was like pro Trump and one was like pro Hillary back in the day. And that pro Trump one, he shoots entertainment. I don't know what he was thinking, like knowing how California is. And I even told him, I'm like, why would you do that? Why don't you get a personal one? Then you can do whatever you want. It's your life. You can believe in whatever you want, but don't put that on your potential clients. You're going to hurt your business. He's since deleted all of it. Delete, 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 delete. So just my opinion for you guys, with your personal Instagram, do whatever you want. With your business Instagram, it's just about your photography. It's just about what you do. And what's old to you in terms of your work is new to everyone else. So if you're like, oh, I shot this 3 years ago, it doesn't matter. I've never seen it. I could think you shot it yesterday. If it's a beautiful image, post it. We're going to have a whole thing about that. That's why I want to review your Instagrams and see what you have going on. And I can give you guys some constructive criticism, because I also own a PR firm in LA. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's called BMP Beverly Hills. And we have a whole division for Instagram and social media promotion. So I kind of, I have people that work for me that are great, but I've learned so much from them. And I think that with the world of Instagram right now, a lot of people will not go to your website. They're going to go to your Instagram, because it's like they think it's instant gratification, and it is, and they want to see your most current stuff. So it would be my end game and my end goal for you guys after this 12 weeks, really have your websites, I mean, your Instagrams and your websites curated beautifully. Does everyone like that? Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell
Oh yeah.
And listen, I know I talk a lot, but if you guys have any questions, just interrupt me. I don't care. I'm not that person, because that's what it's all about. You know, you paid for this. Ask me 1,000 questions. I don't care. So just so we're all clear on that, very important.
Yeah, I'd love to try and follow some of the Instagram accounts. So
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
going to
Yeah, if you could share them all. Yeah.
I'm going to
that'd be
share
great.
with you some people that I think do a great job of curating their Instagram. I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but let me go ahead and get that stretch. I think my
I
Instagram
like that.
is I think that my Instagram is curated really nice for what I do. And I think I've found this formula with the whole Instagram thing of not just posting one photo, of posting multiple photos, and really asking people, because people want engagement, what is your favorite photo? So then you're asking a question to people. Even if you have 30 followers, if 3 people chime in and say, you know what, Ashley, I love number 1, number 4, number 8. And then you chime back in, oh my God, thank you so much. And then they're going to chime back in. How did you like this? Well, I did this. Your engagement is going to go up. People are going to look to you as an authority in what you do, because they're asking you questions. You're not at, oh, that's Madonna calling. Who's that?
It is. Hey, hang on, guys. Sorry, I thought I
So they're going to think you guys are an authority in what you do, because they're asking you questions. So when you look on my Instagram, I'm always like, oh my God, which are your favorites? And then I chime back in. I mean, sometimes I get like 100 people asking me, so I can't really like hit them all up. But if they ask me like, John, how did you like this? Or was this person cool? For the most part, I'm going to chime back in and be like, I lit it this way. I did this, I did that, because you're engaging with your followers, and then you get more followers and more followers. And I've noticed, for me, when I started doing that, I was getting so many more photographers following me because a lot of them love the lighting, or they want to shoot on a set like this, or they like the location, or they like the pose, and they're like, how can I do this? So I think it's really important because each and every one of us as an artist has that potential for people to look toward us and our specific genre of what we do. If one of you guys are specializing in weddings, that's a huge market. Weddings are like hairdressers. There will always be a need for you, just so you know that. And if you shoot kids, there will always be a need for you. And if you shoot real estate agents, there will always be a need for you. Who shoots real estate agents out of all you guys? Oh, there's Ashley, there's Richard. Oh my God, there's Linda. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick little tip that's going to make your head spin right now. Back in the day, this is how shrewd I was when I was 19 years old. I said, how am I going to make money in my crappy little town of Atlantic City? And I'm like, let me think about this. All of these real estate agents need headshots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each of these real estate agents and I'm going to say, hey, my name is John Russo, and I'm going to make sure I get a meeting with them in person so they can see my smiley face. And I'm going to say, how many agents do you have here? Oh, we have 30 agents. Oh, that's great. And you all need headshots. So why don't we set up 2 days with 15 agents per day? And I'm going to charge, this is back in the day, I'm going to charge each agent $100 to do a portrait. And I'm going to have my little backdrop set up, and they're just going to come in 15 minutes or 30 minutes with each person. I cornered the market in my town. I shot every single real estate agent. It was like $2 grand, $2 grand, $2 grand, $2 grand. This is back in the day. If you did that in your town, you know, and then you go to the next town and the next town and the next town. If you're the aggressor and you go after that you will corner that market and knock it out of the park. Another thing, hairdressers. Everybody sits in a hairdresser's chair. Your hairdressers are your reps. You didn't know that yet. Go to all the top hairdressers in your city and say, here's my promo card, Joe. Every person that you refer me, on the back of that promo card, there's a code. It's 01467. Every person that you refer me, I'm going to give you $100 if they hire me to do photography. Really? Yes. So Joe, if you refer me 10 people per week, you're going to get $1,000 a week. You mean you're going to give me $1,000 a week and all I have to do is refer you to people? You see how fast your business quadruples. If somebody knows that they're going to make potentially an extra $3,000 a month referring you people, they're going to give your card to everyone and their mother. What do you think about that?
Great.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't it the truth? You guys have to be creative in your thinking process. Put little reps out there all around you. Hairdressers cannot shut up. They love to talk. So go to them and say, okay, I shoot portraits, I shoot headshots, I shoot weddings, and I shoot kids. All of the women that are going to sit in your chair, and even the guys, they're going to be one of the above. They're either going to get married, they're going to have a kid, they're going to work in a corporate setting. They're going to do this. I need you to give my card to each and every one of these people. You do that with 30 hairdressers around town, your head will spin off your body. You will have so much work, you won't know what to do with it. Your only problem will be your accounting of writing down, oh my God, how do I send Joe this? And how do I send Bill this? And how do I send Mary this? Write it all down on a spreadsheet. Make yourself a code to do it. I did this. I was that shrewd 20-year-old kid in New Jersey cornering the market so I could buy a Porsche. I was such a show off. Oh my God. But I worked my ass off because I wanted the flash and I got it. I swear, back in the day, people thought I was a drug dealer. They're like, how do you have a career? And I'm like, because I'm shrewd and that's what I do. Like, I have all these reps working for me all around town. So we'll talk about that too, creative strategies. I'm just giving you a little touch of everything. And if anyone, has anyone done anything like that I just talked about?
Go ahead.
Okay, Tammy, you go first.
I did one when I was in Georgia right before we moved. Back there, mini sessions, like family mini sessions, are like huge. And
Yeah.
I did a thing. There's all, you know, I had a daughter, and there's all these little kids, and knew all these moms. And so I was like, hey, why don't you host a mini session and you get yours free? So they booked all my mini sessions. So I would have like, you know, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, back to back to back, and you know, they just brought me all people. And they got their
Good idea.
mini session for free. And
Right.
Do
so
you
it wasn't
do any?
basically giving money, it was just my time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think, Linda, you said you do this?
I had created a kind of more of a folio book and left it with the Aveda salon that I go to. And I would have to say I got some, but I think I have to know my market because I charge a little bit more. And so it's about understanding how to have that conversation about, you know, what you're charging. Cause I don't do minis. I don't, you know, it's a little of that where you sometimes have to screen your market a little bit, but for agencies, I do a ton. Like once I shoot with like an ad property in my location, then I got phone calls to do more of that, but everyone wanted the deal. And
Mhm.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah. And here's the deal on the deal. The deal is that I'm shooting you. That's the deal. And I think it's so
Nice.
important too that a lot of people in our careers are going to say this is good for your portfolio.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh.
gosh.
And
I'm
if
over
I
that.
had a nickel for every time someone said to me that,
Exposure.
yeah, this is exposure and this is good for your portfolio, no, it's not. And I think we're going to have another conversation, a deeper conversation about this whole Instagram thing with the Instagram models basically telling us you need to shoot me free so I can mention you, which will do absolutely nothing for you.
Hmm.
Just so you know that. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
yeah,
fell into
don't
that
fall
trap
prey.
last year.
Yeah, don't fall prey to that one. And I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of you have, but I will be the one to shoot that right down because the people that are coming to you, and another word, collaboration. When they
Yes.
come and say, I want to collaborate with you, okay, that means I want to use you and I want you to do all
Yes.
the free stuff for me and you will get absolutely nothing in return.
Styled shoots. Oh
It's
my
so-
God. There's so many styled shoots.
Yeah, 100%. So all of those things, and they're so important to talk about because not many people want to talk about them, but I want to talk about them because I just like talking about that stuff because I'm all about the honesty. I will tell you like what's bullshit, like straight up, and I will not sugarcoat it. It's very important. I kind of pride myself on that. So another thing that I want to talk to you guys about is this whole COVID thing, what's going on right now in all of our businesses and what we can do right now to kind of weather the storm and ride it out. So Robert Powell, I see you over there. Are you working right now? Like, how's your business?
I primarily do fitness photography. So in actuality, the show goes on with a lot of fitness competitors. They've been, you know, the shows have been a little inconvenient, but people are constantly staying in shape for the shows. You know, we had a situation where the big one, the Mr. Olympia contest, was supposed to be here in December. They moved it to Florida last minute. So I thought that was going to kill a lot of business, but it actually, a lot of people locally said, I'm not traveling there, but I want to shoot because I worked hard for this. And so December was actually a pretty good month. But you know, the question is, a lot of the money I can make is traveling to different shows, is how often those shows are going to happen, and so on.
Absolutely. So Peyton, I know your work very well and your work is absolutely beautiful. What have you found with this whole COVID thing since last year?
Oh, I've been kind of the same boat that you've been talking about, John. I mean, most of my work, so I'm based out of Houston. I guess I didn't introduce myself. I'm Peyton. Based out of Houston, shoot mostly portraits. For a long time, shot sports. So those are kind of my two focuses, would be celebrities and active lifestyle brands. But most of my work's been in LA and New York. So when COVID happened, everything kind of shut down. And on top of that, travel became even more difficult. So I think I've been back out to LA one time and I had to drive out there because they wanted me to go through a bunch of COVID protocols if I flew. So I decided to, but they didn't make me go through anything if I hopped in my F-150 and drove 24 hours from Houston to LA. And so it took a week of shooting and then came back and
Nice.
been kind of riding that, but that's been about it. So it's been pretty tough. Been doing some local stuff, but the majority of my business had the last year.
Your
No,
Instagram is really great. Peyton.
I'm sorry.
I like your Instagram feed.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Peyton's, so there we go. So I see two people up there. Daniel. Hey, Daniel. What's up? Hey, guys. So with the cool green screen behind, wow, that's pretty awesome. What do you guys shoot? Like, what do you do?
Well, we do celebrity and editorial. Hi, by the way, we're from Puerto Rico.
We're from Puerto Rico, so sorry for English if it's not too good.
But we've been shooting together since 2001.
2001, probably, yeah. We started photography together when we were dating back in the day. So yeah, it's been quite a while.
So mostly editorial and celebrity portraits and stuff like that.
Absolutely, J-Lo.
J-Lo, exactly.
Not her, not her.
Maybe one day her, you never know. Absolutely. Oh, cool. Well, welcome. So have you found that because of the COVID now, and you guys are, you're in Puerto Rico, has it affected your business or not?
At the beginning, it slowed down. These last few months, they were picked up. A lot of people calling for e-commerce and stuff like that. But again, there's no budget. So they'll call you and check the budget, but then they won't go through with it.
So it's been kind of like a roller coaster trying to adjust our, our prices so that they're not like too high or way too low for the amount of work that we do and the availability we have in the week to shoot, because we can only shoot certain amount of people without sacrificing our actual life and other areas that we want to work besides photography as well. So it's kind of like still finding that balance, a lot of pregnancy too since COVID. So
yeah,
that's been good side of photography.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, during this time, I think we have to be extremely creative and we need to provide more value to the clients for them to hire us. And I'll give you a great example. So I did this this photo shoot for this company called Uncle Bud's, which is a hemp brand, and it was with a celebrity. And they came to me and they're like, "Hey, we have this project. It's with a celebrity. Blah blah blah." How to provide more value for them is we basically produce the shoot for them. I said to them, "Hey guys, we will do everything. We will produce the shoot for you. We'll pick the location. We'll do the mood board." Just throwing in tons of stuff that usually I would charge extra for, but I want to provide more value to a lot of these people, even more so now. So I think that obviously I am a firm believer in sticking to your price, because here's the deal. If you lower your prices right now, when this whole thing ends, they're used to paying a low price. You're not going to just say, "Oh, hey, it's actually double now because there's a cure." They're going to be like, "No, you were charging me $2,000 to do this. Now you want to charge me $7,000 for the same level of work? No, I'm happier paying the $2,000." You can't get them back up. It's such a catch-22 that we're all going through right now with, yes, we want the work, but if we lower our prices, how will we get our prices back up when this ends? It's not like this pandemic is going to be for the rest of our lives. It's like it'll run its course and then it will end. And then hopefully life will go back to life. So let me think. So like, Stefan, have you had this experience like with your photography?
That it went down during
Yeah.
COVID?
Did it go down?
Yeah, of course, definitely. But I don't know. First of all, hi, I'm from Austria. It's 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm a little tired, but I hope it's okay. But you know what I do? I specialized in analog, in wet plate photography, and shoot actually some celebrities, And this year there was nothing. And my main business where I actually make money is corporate and advertising photography. But yeah, it was up and down. So
Yeah.
right now it's locked down in Austria. So I have right now there's no work.
There's no work. And here's the thing, when there's no work, we have to ask ourselves, what do we do? How do we keep our motivation up? How do we not want to kill ourselves?
To be precise, there are no jobs or no. I'm not hired, but of course there is work because there is always work. You can work on yourself and your portfolio and your concepts, your ideas. You know, develop something to move on with your work. Actually,
Absolutely. And like he said, I am a firm believer in that. Since this pandemic happened, I redid my website. I'm so more into social media and promoting myself with that. And I relicense my images to people that basically don't want to do a shoot, but they need an advertising image. So I go back into my archives and I kind of relicense them something that I've already shot. And I think it's just being creative with what you have and what you do. And I've done some of those Zoom photo shoots, which are kind of like a joke, but I did it and it was fine. I mean, I don't want to do that. But I feel like, we have to make money. That's what we do. We're photographers. We need to come up with a way and reinvent ourselves or offer more value in what we do, or let people know that we're following every protocol known to man. I don't care if you have to show up in a space suit. You need to be the one that convinces them, like, hey, whatever I need to do, if I need to get tested, if I need to wear a shield, if I need to be 6 feet away from you, 10 feet away from you, we can still do this. We can still produce great work. Don't let this whole COVID thing get in the way. And I tell my clients the same thing. They're like, oh God, I don't know if we should do a shoot. And I'm like, you go to the market, you go get gas. Why shouldn't we do a shoot? If I'm wearing a mask and I'm not gonna like be on top of you making out with you, I'm taking your photo. I'm gonna be like 10 feet away from you. You don't even have to come near me. I can still do this. So I think now, not only do we have to sell ourselves on the fact that we're great photographers, we have to sell ourselves on the fact that we follow protocol. It's such a joke, but we do. We have to say, like, so I created this photoshootguidelines.com. That's how like crazy I am. I immediately created this website called photoshootguidelines.com and an Instagram that talks about how we can all get back to work, how we can start working again like it was before by following protocols, by shooting outside. If you're afraid to shoot inside, let's shoot outside. It's really not that difficult. It's difficult if you're in Montana or somewhere where it's freezing, but in Southern California or Puerto Rico, it's not that difficult to create a beautiful shoot outside. So I found over the last couple months that most of my editorial shoots, advertising shoots, the little shoots that I've done, they've been outside. And I bought this cool Mercedes Revel, which is a production van that I use now for outdoors. So basically, they don't need to go to a studio. They can come to my vehicle, which has a bathroom and a sink, and they can sit and do hair and makeup and an awning that comes off the side. I kind of thought of a creative way to offer that to clients. And then I bill the client $1,000 to use it. So I'm always upselling. It's not like, oh, I'm going to give you this van. No, your ass is going to pay for this van. I'm not going to give you anything. So, but I still offer that, but I sell the clients on it and say, hey guys, since you don't want to shoot inside, I'm offering this great mobile home where we can all meet, and I have an awning that comes off and we can do hair and makeup and styling. Everything could be done outside. And they see that and they're like, oh, that's great. We're not going to get sick. This is, we're following protocol. So we have to be really creative, especially right now, because what we're going to find and what I found, I got hired to do this big advertising job on the 15th. I had a feeling in my head that they were going to cancel it or switch it. Lo and behold, today I get that email. Oh God, the actress is really nervous with the increase of COVID in Los Angeles. So she wants to wait until it goes down. And I'm like, okay, you want us to get tested anyway, and we're not going to go anywhere near her, but yet you want us to wait until COVID goes down. So I find that this year, probably another 6 months, we as photographers may experience that. And I think you have to self-motivate yourself to not want to jump off a bridge or not think like it's just happening to you. It's not just happening to you. It's happening to all of us. And I pride myself on being like Mr. Positive and positivity, but I'm not going to lie, I'm human as well. I'm used to working constantly. And then when it just kind of stops, when you're getting one job a month, when you were getting 7 a week or 6 a week, you're like, oh my God, is it me? No, is it my work? You start to think that. And then I'm like, no, idiot, it's the world. It's what's going on. It's not me. It's happening to every photographer, every hair and makeup artist, every stylist, all the creatives across the board. So what do? We keep ourselves motivated. We look at our work. We look at other photographers' work that we like, and we think, okay, I loved Herb Ritz's work. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at Herb Ritz, this photographer, and maybe the next time I do a shoot, I could try something different. Or maybe I could set up a test shoot at my house, using window light and do something creative like that. Maybe I'll think out of the box and do a new promo card, or let me think of an industry that's probably doing really well right now, and that would be the online business. And let me think of what stores are doing well. People are buying tons of casual wear because nobody's leaving their house. So I'm going to look to companies that are selling comfortable clothing. And maybe I want to do a test shoot in their clothing, and I want to send them a test shoot that I did. And I'm going to find out who their director of marketing is, and I'm going to target them. I'm going to go the extra mile. They're not going to come to me. I have to go to them. And I have to think about who are the people right now that are actually making money in this pandemic. Or if you shoot weddings, people are still going to get married. You need to be creative and set up basically your COVID package where you will do this thing. You and your team will wear masks. You will make sure that you keep your distance. Find a way to go with the times, but still get across what you're selling to them. And I think that if we don't do that, sadly, we're probably going to get depressed. And I'm telling you right now, I've had these moments the last year where I've even gotten depressed, even though I pride myself on like Mr. Positivity, that I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm used to like 150 emails a day. And now I get somebody giving me Viagra shit, on the email. Where are all my clients? I don't want that. I want my clients to email me, but sadly, my clients are not working. Most of them got laid off, which is unbelievable. A lot of the people that were hiring me, they got put on furlough and they got eventually laid off. So when this thing ends, I have to go back and find out who's now doing the job of the person who hires the photographer. So there's a lot of stuff, for me personally, that I think I have to reinvent, and I have to change my structure of my business. And I think the same thing with you guys, you might have to change your structure of your business if we want to make money and stick with photography making money. Does anybody have any question, observation, address to that, what I just said? Chime on in if you do. Okay, so getting back.
Is it Tassan? He could do a course on how to light for Zoom calls.
Oh wait, where's
Hi there.
so I can look at him. Show yourself.
Shone, how are you?
Oh my God, look at his good lighting.
I said he could do a course on how to light for a Zoom call. I mean,
Right?
fantastic light, and
Thank
your depth of field is beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
I should be shooting you, Tassan. Oh my God.
Yeah, thank you. I was not expecting that. Thanks, guys. Hi, my name is Shone. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario. Hey, Jaden, how you doing? How's the lockdown going?
Hey, how's it going?
Brutal, man, brutal. So I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Shone Boyle. I'm actually a research scientist here in Ottawa for bedside diagnostic products. COVID has been interesting. It's definitely kept us busy, but I still do my best to keep the business going, try and innovate myself and find new ways to diversify the work, which is also how I found you, John. Thanks for putting this together. So it's, yeah, I mean, Linda, so like you mentioned, like I found ways to make myself at least make a first impression during meetings with potential clients these days, just little things like that, you know, and I find everything you're saying, John, pretty helpful, but it's been interesting. It's definitely been slower. And like some of you have said, you find things to do with your business, your portfolio, reinvent yourself. I'm looking at hopefully having another business spin-off focusing on the kind of work that we're all interested in here, because my current website and my current brand is definitely very opposite of this. I definitely do a whole lot of lifestyle, family photography, just kind of like a day in the life kind of photo shoots. But at the same time, I wanted to think outside the box, challenge myself, and here we are.
That's awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you.
Thanks.
And then we haven't heard from, who haven't we heard from? We haven't heard from Jose, hiding over there, Jose. Don't think we can't see you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Aguilar. So what I do, actually, I can relate everything to what John was saying. With Herb Ritz and Stephen Meisel, those are my favorite photographers. And basically, they were the people I wanted to be, somewhere in between them both. But I think that sometimes when we start, you know, photographing, we are not business people. The majority of us don't know how to handle the whole business aspect of it. Also, we kind of just start shooting and never really, or at least for me, don't understand or realize my worth to anyone. So, and then what happens is that sometimes when you start shooting, you're shooting the same thing, and you're not evolving. You're not expanding. You're kind of shooting into the same field, and somehow you get burned out, or you're no longer interesting to a lot of people. So you have to find a new way to kind of reinvent yourself. So I think that, I mean, I've been a fan of John's for a very long time, but I didn't know about this class. And it so happened I saw it 3 days ago. I said, you know what am I going to be doing in quarantine? Nothing. So I might as well see where this, you know, can help me and actually interact with many of you and see where you guys are as well, so that we can kind of like bond, because I think that somehow we are able to influence each other one way or another and improve ourselves. Because sometimes when you get too stuck with the same people, or you photograph the same people, you kind of just, they're stuck. And I think that's where I am right now. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Well, good for you for like admitting that. And I think it's really true. And meanwhile, look at your Madonna picture in the back corner.
Yeah, I love that picture back there, Jose. Nice shot.
So absolutely. I think, and I can only speak for myself, you know, I don't want to say I'm in a rut, but I want to go out and do so many things, but the celebrities that I shoot are not interested in doing photographs right now. So what do? You know, yeah, I can go and shoot models, but I really don't want to shoot models because I shoot celebrities. And now, I mean, it's loosening up a little bit, but for the most part, for the last year, there are no celebrity shoots. These celebrities, they're using it as their 2-year vacation. They have nothing to promote. There's no cinemas to go to, you know?
Right.
So they're not going to hire me because there's nothing to promote. A lot of these, everything's going to streaming and they're not spending the money. They're just churning it out. So it's kind of tricky. Like I just did this one shoot for HBO with Bill Maher, and it was so overly COVID that it was ridiculous. Like, short of me arriving in a plastic bubble, I mean, it was just, you know, we had to wear a mask, we had to get tested, we had to stand, everybody had to be like in different corners, you had to keep the door open. And then the shoot lasted, I don't know, 10 minutes. And I got what I needed, and he's great. And the pictures are awesome. And then all of the people, all the 10 clients, they were on Zoom. So they were all watching me do the shoot with everyone having like a different opinion. Move his arm to the left. No, move it to the right. Well, maybe you should do this. No, you should do that. I literally was like, oh my God, can we just press like delete? But unfortunately, that might be the way that it's going to be with everyone on Zoom watching me shoot a celebrity, which is definitely not something that I like, because, and he didn't even like it either. He's like, who are these people? Turn that computer around. He wasn't having it at all. And I kind of agreed with him, because he's trying to like get into his pose, and everybody's like, no, lift your chin, you know, put your hair on your shoulder. And he's just like, you need to all go away. So I think there's things that are going to change for us. I don't know if it's temporarily. I don't know. I do think it's going to come back. It's just going to be a minute. And I think that, you know, like anything else, we need to, it's almost like we need to be self-motivators right now, and really not get down on ourselves and think of creative projects that we can do. I mean, even me, I thought of like, I love teaching, so I wanted to do this workshop. So that's my project, and now I pour everything into that. And then I think of all these ideas where like, I want to do documentaries. So I came up with all these different documentaries I want to do. So I'm doing the groundwork for the documentaries. So this is a good time for you guys to say, maybe I'm not working as much as I want to, but maybe there's some things that I've always wanted to do that I can do the research on and get it ready, or maybe focus on that, or do this, or do that. Or there are models out there that still want to do test shoots. I get hit up constantly on Instagram. Oh my God, I'll risk my life. I'll come anywhere for you to shoot me, blah, blah, blah. And they will. You know, I just don't have any interest right now for them. I have different interests, but for you guys, if you're like, you know what, I would love to shoot models, just go on Instagram, hit them up. They will be at your house in an hour.
John.
Yes.
If I can, you know, the thing too about Instagram though is that because everyone, at least in my feed, you know, they're, you know, besides the fact that they consider themselves an Instagram model, some of them are really interested in just having you photograph the way they want to be photographed, and not really trust your eye. And with this OnlyFans thing happening around it, where everyone has an OnlyFans account. So that's another reason why I wanted to take this class, because I'm like, you know what? I'm done with those people. I'm done with having to photograph these people who really only want things for themselves, have nothing to do to offer me to grow as a photographer. So I figured, okay, you know, like this is perfect for me, at least, to be able to interact with you and everyone else. But these Instagram people, I mean, I swear, some of these, they're vicious. They're vicious.
Trust me, I hear it from so many other photographers, especially photographers that I'm friends with, where they think just because they have all these bot followers that you have to bow down to them. And it's unbelievable. And just so you know, when you look at people's Instagram and you see that they have 1 million followers, and then you see that they have 345 likes, just know that they bought 99.5% of them. And it's the whole scam right now, where I'm going to make you think that I have like millions of people that follow me, and I just keep buying likes and just keep buying, you know, followers. And you'll be on to those people. And even if they're legitimate and they have like 1 million followers, by them posting your name, you will get nothing. You'll get 3 15-year-old girls to follow you from Texas. That's all you're going to get. And I think that we need to know that the whole Instagram thing is pure vanity. Yeah. It's 100%. I do not get hired from Instagram. My Instagram, and I'm going to be so blunt, is basically put out there for my ego. It's like I shot Brad Pitt and you did not.
Yeah.
So I'm just bringing it to
I
you
would too.
because that's the truth. Instagram is out there just for vanity purposes. Maybe some of you might get a job from it here and there, but in my experience, I've never gotten a job from Instagram at all. It's not like they're like, I saw your Instagram and I want to give you $25,000. It's like, no, you don't, and you're full of shit. So do your Instagram. It's great to have, but I wouldn't focus your whole life and be dependent upon it to bring you work because I don't think it'll happen. But if any of you disagree with me or you've had a different outcome, please chime in and let everyone know so we can get on that bandwagon. I mean, has anyone had a different
I
like?
get quite a bit of wedding work through Instagram.
Okay.
Because that's how people share and refer and, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's
Do
been pretty
influencers
strong.
get your work,
But
Richard?
say that again.
So like Susie, the influencer that poses in a bikini, like in all
Yeah.
her pictures and who's retouched within an inch of her life, do they help you get your work or not at all?
No, not the people wanting the collabs, not so much.
Okay. And for those of you who didn't hear me, once you hear the word collaboration, immediately just hang up. Collaboration in our business means I want you to do this for free so I can post these pictures and you can get 2 followers.
Right.
And if you want to do that and you think they're hot and you think it'll be fun to shoot them, 100% knock yourself out, but go into it knowing that's the deal.
My experience with collab though is the only time I will shoot someone and they say collab is because I need the content. So it's not, they're not going to be dictating what they want. It's going to be because there's something that I'm going to be marketing and I'm using them to make that content so I can market them. So I can market myself actually.
100%. And if you can do what he's doing, 1,000% do it.
What about the other way around? Because some years ago, 3 years ago, I had I found actually on Instagram a fashion designer, and I looked at his work and was amazed on his work, his approach, and his marketing, and it suited my style of photography. And I approached them or him, the designer, and asked about the collaboration because I think my style of photography would suit them, and they were really. They were on fire, and actually then they hired me, and I flew to Shanghai. We shot a campaign over there, and it was really a good job and really successful project for me. And I approached them. The initial email was collaboration. Let's work together, and then we figured it out.
And I think that's great. In my opinion, the word collaboration in specifically to Los Angeles, to my business that I get all these Instagram models that are, hey, John, we need to collaborate and do a shoot, which means I'm not going to hire you, John. We're going to collaborate. So that's my experience. I don't have like Coca-Cola saying that they want to collaborate through Instagram with me. I wish I did, but unfortunately I don't. And I'm not saying that Instagram is 1000% bad. It's not. But you basically use it to your advantage in the way strategically that it's going to benefit you. And if that benefited you, Stefan, by getting that job, 100%. If you can find a connection through Instagram and a new brand to follow, and then you get behind that brand, and then you direct message them and say, hey, who's your director of marketing? In that regard, 1,000%, Instagram is amazing. I'm just saying, look out for the people that want to take advantage of you as a photographer, the people that have OnlyFans that are like, you're going to shoot all these compromising pictures of me, and then I'm going to sell them, and you're not going to make a dime. But you might get a thrill. You might get a thrill from it. And if you, as I said, if you want that thrill, run, go get it. But if you want to make money, no, go on.
Sorry, actually, it was my approach because of the word collaboration, because I think, or I thought it would be great to work together, and I suggested them the idea I had, and they liked it. And I said, okay, if you want to work with me or collaborate with me, we can make this shoot happen, but it will cost you this.
Good for
And
you.
they accepted, so it worked out fine for me. So it's not getting emails or messages from Instagram. They say, okay, I want to collaborate, please shoot me. So, but this time it was the other way around. I approached the client.
And I think it's very
Nice.
important for you guys to approach clients. And I think any way that you can approach them, whether it be Instagram, calling them, obviously you can't really show up at their doorstep now because of what's going on. But I think that people are on their email even more right now. So we're going to have a project where you guys create a new promo card with your existing work. E-cards are really easy. I would, in my opinion, just focus on e-cards. I think it's a waste to do any kind of printed material and mail people stuff. I find that with my clients, and I can only speak to my clients, they're all about the instantaneous. When it comes through on the email, they see it, they literally grab it and they put it on their desktop, and that's it. I think that the success that I found is through having a marketing plan, basically saying like, I'm going to email you every second of the month. My team is going to send out a promo card with new work every second of the month. Consistency, when they see it, oh, John just did the ads for HBO. Oh, John just shot Jane Fonda. Oh, John just did Leonardo DiCaprio for this. You want to keep them abreast of your work, but you don't want to torture them every week because then they'll be over you. I think once a month is nice. So then if you do that follow-up email with them and you're like, hey, just checking in. I sent you I just did this new shoot with DiCaprio for 20th Century Fox. Just want to see what you thought of it. Any interesting projects going on that we could work together? That's it. It's all about the subtle communication to keep you fresh in their mind. It's very important to do that, to incorporate that strategy into your business. They are not going to come and knock on your door and be like, hey, Robert, are you sleeping? I have this job for you. No, you have to target them and look for them and find these clients. And there are databases that we can buy. There's AdBase where we can go and find out and buy this database and create a database for potential clients for us. And I think even now, there are people that are thinking about doing photo shoots, whether it's hotels, whether it's brands. It is a good time because people have nothing but time to do. And even the clients, they're bored too. They can't go out. So they're on their phone constantly. So for you to send them an email now, you probably get a better chance of a response than you sending it with no COVID. So I think having those e-cards, and some of you may say, oh God, well, I haven't really shot anybody new. So how can I send them my new work? What's old to you is new to me. Remember that. Go back into your archives. You know when you created something beautiful. Go back in your archives and say, I did this shoot 2 years ago, which this client won't know that. They'll think I did it yesterday. And just send them that. And then go back in the archives again and make yourself a email marketing plan and say, okay, I'm going to target, because I shoot weddings, I'm going to target all these wedding planners every second of the month. And because I shoot real estate agents, I'm going to get a database of real estate agents and I'm going to send them an email every single month. Or if I shoot musicians, it's going to apply to whoever you shoot. For me, I shoot celebrities for studios like Fox, Sony, Paramount. So I'm going to target them with something specific, but I also shoot brands for Hugo Boss, for Dolce & Gabbana, for Gucci. I'm going to target a different promo card for them, but I also shoot for magazines. So I'm going to have a promo card that's all of my covers of Vogue, Harper's, Elle, GQ. I'm going to send that to them. But I also shoot hotels and resorts around the world. So I'm going to have a promo card, one for tropical resorts, one for city hotels. If you hone in on it and you send specific promo cards for specific things, I think it works for me. It's definitely any means of communication with this client to keep you fresh in their mind is a great means of communication.
What would
Don't
your
go
promo
80.
card look like?
Oh, that's another class. No, I'm joking. My
I just,
promo
you know,
card.
I just was wondering,
No,
e-card, promo
absolutely.
card.
So one of our weeks, I want you guys, I'm going to show you some examples of my promo card, and then I want you guys to make some promo cards because I think it's really important. And next week, I'm going to show you some of my promo cards. I have so many promo cards, my head is spinning, but it's really important. And I'm going to show you the evolution of my promo cards from when I started when I was 4 years old to now. I've changed my promo card, and oddly enough, my mom and dad kept all of my promo cards and I just found them. And so I'm going to show you the evolution of my promo cards. It's actually kind of
Nice.
fun.
Nice.
But I think it's really important for us to have that drive and that ambition right now to say, okay, there ain't shit going on. So I'm going to make myself a series of badass promo cards that I can send out. And I'm going to make specific ones. And here's the deal. It doesn't cost you anything. You're basically taking like one strong image or two strong images, or maybe 4 or maybe 9, and making a grid. And you're just putting like basically Jose Aguilar photography with your website and your phone number. It doesn't need to have your address. It doesn't need to have what state you live in. It doesn't need your pager, your fax number, your nothing. Simplicity. Let your work speak for your pager. Don't you love that? You can
Nice.
let your work speak for you. Make everything about your work. And that's the same thing. Well, I want all of you guys to send me your website and your Instagram so I can go through them. I want to see how your website's curated. I want to see how your Instagram is curated. And I'm going to give you my 100% honest opinion and my suggestions on what I think might be good to help you guys. Because sometimes when we do it, we don't realize what we're doing. You need an outside opinion to tell you, like, maybe I'd rethink putting that image on your website. And here's another thing for your Instagram. You can tell by how many people liked it, how the response was. If you post an image and like nobody commented and 6 people liked it, that needs to come down that night. Very important. And another thing is, go back deep into your Instagram. You may have posted something 3 years ago, maybe after you had way too many drinks. That will come back to haunt you. Go back, delete it. You see it on the news all the time. It's the same thing with people like us that nobody knows. You may have posted something not cool or not PC or a bad picture. Edit it. Go back, delete it. It's all about your work. Oh, question, Tammy.
Hi. Well, on mine, I still have some newborns on there, and that's like on my to-do list is like to go on my. I've already taken all of that other stuff off of my website, but I still have some of the old photos of like maternity or newborns. So I just need to go ahead and just take all of that off, and that was like on my to-do list for this week to do that. So going back into the archives of other shoots that I have that fit what I'm trying to achieve and focus on. Is it bad to just like start dumping pictures in on like say tonight and I go and I just like dump them is because the date that shows up on there, does that even matter? Or
No, it
does that
doesn't
make
matter,
sense?
but don't dump a million pictures. It's all about the quantity. I mean, it's all about the quality and not the quantity. Only
I had
post
10 great ones that I wanted to put on there tonight before I showed you. Would it be?
No, but don't do it
Does
before
it
you show
matter?
me. No,
No.
yeah, here's what I'm saying. For your Instagram, because obviously we use Instagram because we want to get likes, we want to get comments and all that stuff. I think eventually make yourself a little plan and say, okay, for the next 10 days, I'm going to post a picture at 8 o'clock in the morning, because then when everybody's lying in bed when they wake up, I have all day for everybody to look at my images. Don't post it at like midnight, because then you won't get that many people. So, but curate it and post something that's really beautiful. And I feel like with Instagram, people just don't want a photo, they want a story. They want to know, like, I shot this, I met this girl, and then we did this, and then I shot that, and then the baby threw up, and then, you know, I got punched. They want, whether it be drama, or they want a story, or there's some photographers that will go on to say, this is how I lit this.
Okay.
This is what I did. I'm not that photographer. I feel like I don't need to do that, but there's some photographers that will give you all that, and that's great. I think, in my opinion, no one wants to read all that. Just write something really special, like, we did the shoot out in the mountains, it snowed, it was beautiful, I loved working with Mary, she was great stylist. Let me give a shout out to the makeup artist. Then tag the hair, makeup, the styling, the model. They're all, and then put it on your story, and they're all going to repost it.
Yeah.
When you tag them. So be creative like that.
So I've already, like I said, I just already done everything on my website and changed all that into all the, like, the newborns and the other categories that I'm no longer going to be shooting. And so I have all those in a file that I need to take off all the newborns and things and have it to where some of the more of the images are on my website, onto my Instagram. But I was like, should I just, like, say I have like 10 really great ones that I want to put on there. Should I put like one a day, or?
I mean, that's what I would do. You don't want to just hit them with everything and then you have nothing left to post. You know, or even space them out and do until you get more images, and go back into your archives and find stuff. But I feel like if you just go ahead and, like, fill your Instagram and then you have nothing left to post that's good, yeah, you have 20 great pictures on there and then it's over. And then and Instagram, people want to see stuff every day. That's why I post every day. It keeps them abreast of my work. And even my clients that are on there, I know who's following me, and I know who likes the images. So if I see somebody from Sony or Fox or Disney or Dolce or one of the big brands, they're seeing something that they may not have saw in previous posts. So that's why I'm going back into my archives now. Like the thing that I posted today of this girl, Ana de la Reguera. I love saying her name. I want to say it 10 times. Ana de la Reguera. That was shot, like, I don't know, 8 years ago. And I happened to, like, be going through old emails and I found it and I'm like, I love this shoot. Why haven't I posted this shoot? And it got, like, rave reviews, like, from my followers and stuff like that. But to someone that is looking at that, they may think that I shot it yesterday.
Yeah.
They don't know, because it's new work to them. It's old to me, new to you. And that's why I tell you guys, go back into your archives, make a social media plan. And here's the other thing. If there's a potential client that you want to shoot for, tag them. They'll see it. They may see it. If you did a shoot, so like, let me think. If one of you wants to shoot for a sneaker company, go and tag the top 10 sneaker companies. You'd be surprised how many of their social media people look at that kind of stuff. Or if you want to shoot for a sweater company or a cashmere company, tag Naked Cashmere. There's so many different brands. And right now, people are open to creative things that you're doing at home. So hypothetically, if one of you guys was like, okay, I went out and I ordered 5 pairs of these new sunglasses from this brand, and I did a mock test shoot. And I basically sent the images to the brand and say, hey, I just did this campaign for you guys that I think is amazing. They can look at that and go, wow, this is amazing. And this person already shot this. How much would you want for these images? Hey, I'm going to charge you a licensing fee. Why don't you license? Hey, if you take all 5, I don't know, let's do 2,500. Okay, great. But always come in high. Let's do $5,000 and then settle on like 4. So if you have the time to do this, I would say it's only going to help you. 1,000% help you. If you're going to do a test shoot, incorporate a brand, then reach out to that brand. You know, if you want to shoot those kind of brands, and if you're like, oh, I want to do still life, okay, maybe there's a new fragrance that you might be able to shoot their campaign for. In this time that we're doing now, it relies on us to be creative, to do stuff that we may not have done if we did not have COVID going on. And I do the same thing sometimes. I own a magazine called Geo Journal, which is this really cool magazine that I created. And the reason why I created this magazine is because I was so disillusioned with the drama of magazines, but I still wanted to shoot a ton of celebrities for editorial. So I decided one day I'm going to create my own magazine. And I teamed up with this girl who started Modern Luxury Publications. She quit, she became my editor. We did it as almost like a fun project. Then it turned out to be like a big thing, almost so big that I didn't want to do it anymore because it was becoming a full-time job for me. So I've since she left, and now it's going to become really what I want it to become, basically my work. I interview all the celebrities, I shoot all the pictures. That's something that I created in my spare time. You guys can create the same thing. Don't think that you can't. So if you wanted to come up with a digital publication, it doesn't really cost you anything. It's just your time in doing it. Think outside of the box, creative ways to get you more work, to get you more noticed by certain clients. And that could be one of a million things. It could be you deciding you want to do a charity book. And if you shoot kids, maybe you'll do a charity book on kids and it'll benefit children with cancer. Or if you shoot musicians, or if you live in Austria and Austria is so beautiful and you went and did a pictorial of all these beautiful mountains. Stefan wants to do the Sound of Music pictorial for his next book, right? But I know. So, but it's up to us to think of things that we can do in this downtime to motivate the hell out of ourselves, whatever it is. And I think during the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be that person that's going to motivate the hell out of you guys because I need to motivate myself. So by me motivating you is going to motivate me. It's very important to do that. So I know, oh my God, we've been talking for 2 hours. Boy, I'm going to need a drink. So I have an assignment for you guys. Well, there's 2 assignments. Obviously, you're going to send me your website. Don't stress about your websites, or don't tweak over your Instagrams. I don't care. I'm here to give you constructive criticism. I'm not here to make you feel bad at all. But I want you guys to research 2 photographers that inspire you. They could be photographers that are dead, that are back in the day, or current photographers. And then in just a short paragraph, let me know why they inspire you guys. And then also, do you like their lighting, their composition, their shooting style? Just give me 3 examples of their work and why you think that image works. It's very important. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to identify when you see an image out there, whether it be on the cover of a magazine or an ad when you go into a store or a billboard when you're driving, you should be able to say that image works because. Or we're going to have another lesson the following week. Show me 3 images that don't work. Oh, I'm going to show you lots of images that don't work. And then we're going to talk about why that image does not work. It could be bad lighting, bad composition, terrible pose, not a flattering angle. If we start to identify these things, then we're going to start to be more aware when we shoot of what's working and what's not working. Very important. Does anybody have any questions before we go?
So where is the rap party going to be hosted in LA?
Rap party. We'll have to go to Montecito, where I live by the beach.
Yeah.
Santa Barbara.
Yes,
Mind
sounds
you,
good.
I'm in freezing Whitefish, Montana right now. I mean, so far away from my own little world, but I'm in my friend's unbelievable, like 8-bedroom mansion on the top of the mountain. So I'm balling to the highest level. I'm having a good time right now. But yeah, so next week, I think I'm still going to be here and then I go back home. And I'm traveling because there's nothing going on. So I hopped in the car and took one of my friends and said, let's go snowboarding and let's go skiing and let's go to Glacier National Park and take pictures of beautiful lakes, which inspires me, and do beautiful scenery pictures. So anything with your camera that inspires you is a great thing. Always remember that. So if you guys need any questions, you all have my email. And if you don't, it's really easy. It's john@johnrussophoto.com. Email me if we ever need any, like, say you're like, oh, I want to have, like, can I have a one-on-one with you for like 15, 20 minutes? 100%. hit me up during the week. We'll make an appointment. I want to be here for you guys so you can all be like crazy happy.
Do we send you
Thanks.
our homework assignment?
Oh yeah, so here for the homework assignment, if you just send it to me, email it to me the day before, that would be so awesome. Because then I'll have it.
Monday.
I can go through it and then I can put them on my screens and then I can show everybody like, and we can have a discussion about what works, what doesn't work, why you like this photographer. I encourage you guys to look at other photographers that are successful, whose work that you respect, and look at the consistency in their work, look at the consistency in their lighting, and you'll understand why they are where they are. I think that's very important for us to grow as photographers, is to look at people who have made it and why have they made it. They're obviously doing something right, and we need to find out what they're doing right, and we may need to do it or get influenced to do something that's pertaining to our business. So lots of things to talk about. And as I said, next week, every week, ask me 1 million questions. You know I love to talk. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, have a beautiful night. I can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Okay,
guys.
bye.
See ya.
You guys.